The Five Rings Podcast with Duane Rollins and Kevin Laramee on the Sport Podcasting Network. Follow us and listen to us live on Twitter at Five Rings Podcast and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Sports Podcasting Network for more content.
And good day, good night. Welcome to the Five Rings Podcast. I'm Kev Laramee, joined by Duane Rollins as always. And today, we're going to review Day 14. And please indulge us. This is a show years in the making for multiple reasons for Duane and I. From the race walk, to the football, to the Olympic tournament. Multiple medals, decades in the making. Duane, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. It was a pretty good day, Olympic-wise. Yeah, and it merged both worlds because I don't know if you're aware, but the Canadian women won a gold medal. I mean, we can talk about whether it was fair or just. It was. They won. They scored. Well, they didn't score more goals. They won the skill competition.
Yeah, they scored the one goal. I guess they won the skill competition during the game, too. Jessie Fleming built her statue. Steph LeBay, best keeper in the country. Christine St. Clair, Olympic champion.
Yeah, and that's the takeaway from this. And look, I've been reading a lot in the last couple hours about reactions to this, and that's the universal. It's all about her. And you know what it should be? She's a delightfully modest, amazing athlete, and I've had the privilege to talk to her maybe 6-7 times in my life. I wouldn't claim to know her, but I dealt with her on a media level, and you can really just tell when you talk to her, when you ask her a question about football, about tactics, about something other than, how are you inspiring young women? She lights up. She loves this game. She loves that team. It was amazing to see it happen.
It was amazing to see it happen. Of course, we'll talk about that match later in the show when we talk about our medals for sure. But it was quite a matchup for Duane and I emotionally. That's why we're doing this show later than normal. And of course, we're really happy to be able to cover this team through ups and downs over the years. We've started talking about this team together in 2014. Duane started a long time before that, and it has been a long time coming. It was also a multiple sporting event happening on Day 14. And before we start with our wood medal, there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about. You talked to me about sport climbing last couple of days, and I have to say I watched a lot last night, the women's competition, and I knew I was going to like this speed, but I've watched speed competitions. There's a lot of them on YouTube, and I've watched it in the last few months. The bouldering, though, that is fascinating to me because it's kind of like figuring out a puzzle. And then you see them think, and you see them look at the layout and try something, and then they put the chalk and they try something else, and somebody looks at it, they're like, oh wait, they inspired me. It's a fascinating event.
Bouldering is awesome. It is unique in the sporting world. Like when you hear it explained to you, you go like, why would I want to watch that? Then you watch 10 minutes of it and you're like sitting there going, what? It's like a maze, like a puzzle, a movie playing out in front of you. It's incredible. If you don't know what it is, it's that they put a climbing wall on, and there's certain parts of the wall that they have to get points, right? Like, or how fast they do it and all that. Like they're climbing a wall, but they don't see it until they get out there. So it's basically not just a physical challenge, it's a mental challenge as well. So these guys, world-class climbers, incredible athletes. You see these guys, like they're the guys and gals, their strength is incredible. They don't know how to get up this thing. Like they've got to figure it out in live time. I think they have 6 minutes. 6 minutes they have to figure this out. It's incredible to watch, and you wouldn't think it is until you watch it. But if you haven't, check it out. It's a great sport. It really is.
Yeah. And then when you go for the top aspect, and then you say, I just have the woman who won the gold last night. Well, she won that aspect, and I believe she ended up winning the gold too. That's Slovenian. But she's kind of like what's called a double dino. So that's when you jump and you land with both hands, but nothing else. So imagine if you're doing this in the real world. You're just jumping, leaping in the void with nothing and grasping on with two hands on that little inch of a hold. That's such an impressive aspect. But I watched that, and I really enjoyed, too, the 1,500 meters, Duane, the women with Kip Kipyegon, who won the first. She's a Kenyan, and Laramee second. And we had Sifan Hassan, who was going for the triple. She was trying to be the first person alive to get the 10,000 meters, the 5,000 meters, I believe, and the 1,500 meters gold medal. Only the 1,500 meter was left, and she finished third. The Canadian Stafford finished fifth. Great performance, one of the best in the world, top 5 in the Olympics. That was a fun race to watch. I really enjoyed all the long distance or middle distance event in the Olympics.
Yeah, the 1,500 to me is the best race in track and field. I honestly think that. I mean, it's the mile historically. It's kind of been reduced in importance over the last few years, but I'm not sure why, because I think it combines everything, both sides of track. I think that's the meeting point is the 1,500. Like, you have to have speed for sure. Like, look at their split times. Very few of us could run one lap at the split times they run, let alone, 1,500 meters of it, 4.5. But it also involves that strategy. So it's just an incredible race. And I think that, I know we're metric focused, but that kind of the metric mile, that mile race has always been an important thing. The 4-minute mile still probably is the biggest moment in track history when it was broken, which, was 60 years ago now. Right. But it still was that human achievement was amazing there. So look, it's a great race. It's a strategic race. It's a great race to watch, and it helps for us if you have a cheering interest in it, which we did. And if his place finish in the 1,500 meter in the Olympics is nothing to snuff at, I think the older I get, Kevin, the more I realize how 3 is an arbitrary kind of number.
Why is it podium 3 and not like 5 or just 1? I don't know. It's a good question.
At some point, someone decided it. That's
exactly.
It.
Well, usually why are things like this? Famous answer is, well, because. So,
it was a great race, and absolutely. And the track competition has been amazing. It's a fast track. These athletes, perhaps because they're used to having to taper for, the World Championships every 2 years and the Olympics every 4 years. So basically 3 of their 4 years they're tapering. So maybe that's why this has been so good, because other sports only taper for 4 years, right? But it's been a great competition.
They would have had to be ready for the World Championships anyways in just a few weeks' time. So if there wasn't for the postponements, you're right. That's maybe why we're seeing the athletics competition still with new world records and still achievement, and not just great victories, but also pushing the sport forward.
Absolutely. Eugene, Oregon. If you're in North America listening to this, the athletics championships in Eugene, which is a very famous place in the world of track. It's a huge track place, so it should be great games, and they've been looking to get it for a long time. And
the birthplace of Nike Athletics, and where Phil Knight revolutionized the world of track and field with shoes made of old tires.
Absolutely. And I was just going to say, if you talk to the track athletes, they'll, it's funny. We've talked to Evan Dunphy, which we'll talk about him in a minute, I'm sure, before. And he says the World Championships are every bit as important as the Olympics to him. And, Evan's kind of a funny guy. He's a guy that is self-depreciating and all that. So like his Twitter profile said like world championship medalist, Olympic non-medalist prior to yesterday. I don't know if he's changed it yet. I think though, having watched his reaction to winning,
I think he changed it.
Yeah, the medal is good. But anyway,
I'm pretty sure he changed it. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Evan Dunphy. One thing I really enjoyed doing too was the modern pentathlon, the quirkiness of it, the fact that you can have a dream dominate and a horse that doesn't cooperate shatters your said dream. I feel bad for the athlete from Great Britain, but there's another one from Great Britain that did great and actually won the damn thing. And there's been other athletes doing good in that competition. It's so weird. And I was watching the laser run in particular, and then it was delayed for weather, of course. And then they start shooting a laser gun at targets and then start running. I was like, whoa, wait, what? I forgot about that event. Where was that event all my life? Kind of wish it was more of a laser tag event. But, I'll take the laser run. I'll take the fencing, because that's the qualifying event. It's fencing, the running with the horse. It's jumping with the horse. What a quirky event. One of the last few very fascinating events in the Olympics.
Yeah, look, I covered the Canadian modern pentathlon championships once when I worked for a daily newspaper, and I asked them, like, what's it like to be in an event that everyone thinks is weird and shouldn't be in the Olympics, and they're like, well, it is what it is. Um, I think there's an argument to be made that modern pentathlon, which is only competed by maybe 1,000 people in the world, probably doesn't deserve the Olympic place more than some other sports. But I'm never one to want to take a sport out of the games, so I will never argue that. It is a quirky, military based kind of in its historical roots event. But hey, it's different for sure.
No, I agree with you, because if you take the event away from the Olympics, you condone that event to disappear, because you take away their reason for existing, their raison d'être, or what have kept that sport alive, which is the Olympic participation. If you just like our wood medal, which we're going to talk in a second, which maybe is a good segue. You take it away, maybe it starts to decline in that sport, and then unfortunately, you take the modern pentathlon away from the Olympics, maybe you'll still have it at a weird event, but it'll slowly just become just like the cheese event rolling that hill somewhere in Great Britain. It's not just about a quirky aspect. If you keep the top of it, maybe you keep the competition alive.
No, 100%. And that cheese rolling thing is nuts. There's a great documentary on Netflix. If you've never seen it, those people are insane.
They die. Like, there's people breaking their necks every year.
Oh yeah, the document. I forget what it's called. Maybe I'll shout it out tomorrow. I'll look it up after this, and I'll tell you tomorrow. But yeah, go look it out. It's like weird sports around the world. They're all nuts, right? Anyway.
I've seen it. That and what's it called?
The Italian one where they all kill each other.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to talk about. It's the calcio. Anyways, they can fight. So it's basically you have 300 people, and there's one ball, and you can just fight.
Oh no, that Italian one. I was the whole time sitting there. I don't remember the name, but yeah, just going. Well, why?
I think we actually did a show on the Five Rings podcast on that one day, like a long time ago.
Yeah, quickly. The Olympic, the Five Rings matter. Well, the podcast matters, but the actual Five Rings matter a lot. I mean, I love curling. It's a big sport that I follow a lot, and I've followed it for a long time. And before the Olympics had it, it was kind of like, let's have a few drinks and go and be curling. The very first curling gold medal ceremony had a guy with a rum and coke in his hand. Not a word of a lie. A guy with a rum and coke came up to the podium to get his medal.
Hey, thanks. Cling, ling, ling, ding, ding. Here, the clinging of the ice cubes.
Exactly. Now you look at those curling athletes. Yeah, athletes is the key. Yeah, you and I. People always say, "Oh, I'm going to be a curling Olympian." No, you're not.
Robert from the bowling alley ain't making it to the curling tournament. Okay.
No, they're rock stars. Look at them. The front end. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Speaking of 50-kilometer race walk, let's talk about our wood medal for day number 14, and that is the taking away of the freaking damn 50 kilometers after this year. We saw the last Olympic 50-kilometer race walk last night. And this makes me sad. The fact they're taking it away, it won't be competed in the 2024 games. Who knows for after? Only the 20 will stay. It's an event that, yes, it's different. It's long. It's an endurance event, 3 hours, almost 4 hours. And it's really hard to sell tickets to, because it's outside. It's the fact that they only make it the way they do also doesn't help, right? If you make an actual course, and you can actually anyways, they don't help it by just making 1 kilometer left and 1 kilometer one way and then back. Anyways, don't get me started on the lack of respect for this sport. This is an unique effort, and that has its place at the Olympic. The fact that there's no other event that are similar when it comes to the effort that is demanded to perform at it. So that says a lot. And they're taking it away. And it's unfortunate. I love long distance stuff. I watch every single second of that 50 kilometer. And I was riveted yesterday. And I was sad when it ended. Well, I was happy. I was really happy when it ended for other reasons that we'll talk about 10 minutes. But I was sad also because it was the end of it.
100%. Look, the Olympics, they were founded on the principles of higher, faster, stronger. They want to test the limits of the human achievement, right? And to a certain extent, they do that. But what they really fail at is with the endurance events. I would argue that not only the 50K walk should remain, but they should actually add a running competition that lasts more than 26 miles.
So you're talking about like either an Ironman triathlon or an Ironman or an ultra marathon or something, maybe not akin to an ultra marathon, but somewhere higher than at least a full marathon.
Yeah, no, I think I've talked about in this show before how I became friends with an ultra marathoner she was the number 2 ranked ultra marathoner in Canada, for what that's worth, right? And she was a different cat for sure, because she didn't necessarily care about her ranking and all that sort of stuff. It was about testing themselves. And Evan's kind of a bit like that too, right? Like those distance people, it's about the internal battle more than the medal. But at the same time, as we saw with him yesterday, and we'll talk about that more in a minute, the medal kind of matters too. Look, to remove this event for no particularly good reason is just strange to me. Like that, watching it yesterday, it was it is an incredible competition. At one point, the Japanese athlete, a world-class athlete that's won medals at world events, just collapsed from the effort. And I'm not saying that that's good, that someone's going to collapse, but ultimately the Olympics is about pushing yourselves to extremes, right? And look, to take that away, they're losing something. And it is compelling to watch for 3.5 hours, but it is. If you've ever watched a distance race, I mean, you're not necessarily staring at it in the same way that you're staring at a basketball game or something, but it's there and you're following it and you're sort of understanding the strategy. Like
exactly, it's very similar to cycling, right? There's a kinship with cycling, just the way it is described with the peloton, with chases, with the leader, with even how you gauge your effort. It's a different effort, a different type of effort, but there's a lot of similitude between the two, and it's the walking or running, the athletics version of what a cycling race could be. A long distance, I wouldn't say low effort because the effort is high, but it's not like high intensity, right? So, but even then, they're running faster than I would run for. So they're walking so fast. But yet again, the fact that they're taking it away, it's unfortunate. But maybe it's just temporary, and that's what we can hope is maybe we can change things, and maybe the future has the 50-kilometer back in it if enough people demand for it, or if you organize the Olympic one day. As a country, if you're listening to this, maybe LA in 2028. You got nice beaches. That would be a nice venue to have a 50-kilometer race walk just on that walkway on Venice Beach. Come on, put it back in. Please, LA, you can do it.
Well, yeah, like the road races don't require the building of venues. There's no money outlay to host these things. You just have to map a course out. Hopefully not a 2K loop, because over 50K, that's a bit silly. But
I know that's what it makes me so mad. I was talking to my significant other, my partner, and we were talking to each other, and we're like, so imagine if they would treat it like the cycling. Would they make like a nice actual like track, like what I mean, the circuit? To be like, okay, it's a 5 kilometer long and it's 10 loop of it, and there's a little climb, a little descent. Not too much because you don't want to get too extreme here in race walk, but. Yeah, there's something they could do. That's part of, guys, we'll just have you run around these corners, okay? And there's going to be cones. Just go back and forth, do it 25 times, makes 50 kilometers, and then we can call it a day.
Might as well just done it on the track in the stadium.
Why not?
Well, yeah. Well, that'd be 7,000 laps.
Well, yeah, but seriously, what would be a big difference? The lap is just twice as long. That's all. Anyways, that's our wood medal for day number 14. Moving on to our poutine medal for today. It's another long distance athlete. Well, this one has done something that no Canadian had done before, winning a medal in a long distance event on the track. First long distance medal ever for a Canadian athlete. 5,000 meters. Mohamed has won a silver medal. It looked like a freaking 4th spot for a long time. And then the final 100 meters stepped in. And then his kick kept in. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. And he started running and caught everyone. And then it was like, he's gonna no, he did not catch the Ugandan, but he caught everybody else. Silver medal for Mohammed.
Absolutely, it was a great race, and for the longest time, this country didn't really have a history in those kind of events. It's great that he's doing that. It's great that he's able to do that. And more to the point though, like he's a cool dude. Like you ever talk to him, his confidence, his sort of stagger is amazing. And this is a guy that came to Canada, a Somalian refugee, 20 years ago or so. It's a great story. He didn't grow up in the wealthiest part of the city I'm in, and it's just awesome that he's able to do this and able to do this so strongly. They've talked a lot about him. I've seen a lot of profiles. Maybe it's because of Toronto, so he's a Torontonian. So there's a lot of people talking about him and like how people that grew up with him just were like, yeah, no, we could tell from the time he was like 3 that this is a different cat that's just going to push himself to new limits. And that was a great thing to see. And silver medal. And the longer the distance, the more perspective they all get. So I'm sure he will have a little bit of perspective, but those top 3 matters. So, silver medal, great result. And he's, I think, still got more to come.
Yeah, he might do more eventually on the track. He's still young.
This game is still done, but yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I wanted to confirm. Just something like, he's not going to win the marathon, okay? Don't expect these. I don't even think he's participating. It's not on the track, so. But, you never know. But Duane and I have been waiting for a long time to talk about this one, and this is a brand new edition. This is a Super Poutine medal for the first time in history. We have a medal in a race walk. Evan Dunphy, friend of the podcast. Someone actually came on the podcast a long time ago. Actually became a medalist after. The first in the history of this show. Bronze medal in the 50-kilometer race walk. And Duane, I'm going to transport you to the last 250 meter of that race. We don't even see it. We just see the first ones, and then you have you got the Poland guy who's way ahead of everybody. And then you had the German Hilbert. And then Tur, the Spanish Tur, who I thought it was Turkey. No, his name is Tur. That's why I said Tur, not Turkey. He's Spanish. And you had a Portuguese, and then you had Evan Dunphy. And you're like, oh man. And he looked with no more energy. He looked literally drained. And then you're like, all right. And then we're just watching the guys cross the line. And then at the distance further, we just start to see a red cap start running faster and faster. Walking faster and faster. And where's the Portuguese? The Portuguese disappeared. He's still missing. I still don't know where Vieira, the Portuguese, is, but he disappeared. And then Tur just stopped. It looked like a stop, but no, it was Evan Dunphy walking the run of his life, fueled by Kraft dinner, and crossing that line in third position, and the yell of joy that was heard around the globe. Evan Dunphy, Olympic medalist.
Evan's just a good dude, man. Like, look, he's been on the show 3 times actually, and I've talked to him a few times, like consistently for a few years now. Like, I don't know him in real life. He lives on the other side of the country, but in the weird modern way, I would consider that man a friend, right? So to see someone that I kind of know win a medal was just amazing. It was incredible. I was screaming at my TV when I saw him in third going through.
It's such a shame that there's no images of him overtaking the Portuguese guy, because that's what I mean. The guy's missing. I'm like, where is he? I don't know. Did he even exist? Is that Portuguese athlete a fiction of my imagination? I don't know. But Dunphy came in third. Tur just stopped walking. He was, what a kick. What an end of that race. And then you hear the commentator, oh, wait, Dunphy's coming for bronze. And then I'm like, oh, my Lord. Oh, I was yelling at my TV screen during race walk.
No, 100%. Yeah. Hat tip to the Portuguese dude. That Portuguese dude is 43 or something. Like, he's in his 40s. Amazing for that.
Yeah. Where did he go, though?
Well, he got past. Like, the thing about the race walk is they blow up real good. When they blow up real good, right? Because they're pushing themselves to a limit that very few of us can understand. The fact that he had that much energy reserve at the end was just incredible. And they were showing the Polish athlete winning. So it had a long shot. So there was a wide angle, and I could see in the background. I'm looking for Evan. I'm like good. He's winning. I'm looking, and I could tell that he had passed into third, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
I felt the same way.
I think that it was strategy too, because there was a point in that
Yes.
race that I actually tweeted out. Like, I wanted to make sure that people understood how amazing this accomplishment was for him and how to respect him as an athlete. Like I felt like almost a personal connection to it, which is ridiculous, I get. But so I tweeted out like a few minutes earlier, like, it doesn't look like a medal's in the cards, but everyone should be proud to support this guy. So the fact that he was able to overcome two people after he looked like he was falling behind, like the pack dropped him for a minute, but I think that it actually was strategy that he did that. But he realized the gold was gone.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, the amazing race, the guy that won, like this was like his first like real big 50K. He thought that he had it. He pushed himself. He was failing at the end, but he knew that he had just enough to hold on. So God bless him. He won it, and good for him. But I think Evan just at one point said, if I'm going to beat these people around me, what I need to do is rest for about 10, 15 minutes right now. Not rest in a way that any human like us would conceptualize it.
Not sleep, but just not push it. Just keep your same stride and not overexert your technique so you get a foul or something. But I think there's also the fact that he had a hamstring problem. And he was talking to his hamstring. And that's the funny aspect. You were talking about the quirkiness of Evan Dunphy that we love. And that's one of the reasons why long-distance athletes and distance athletes like this are made of a different fiber, because they have to understand pain. And they deal with pain in a different way than normal human beings do, because they live next to pain and they walk with pain and they push that suffering all the way to its brink. That's what cycling is. That's what race walking is. And that discussion between Evan Dunphy and his hamstrings, saying, look, you hate me right now. I don't like you. You don't like me. You're making me hurt. I make you hurt. Things are not going well, but look, buddy, give me all you got right now, and forever we'll have a medal. We'll be something. Let's make a deal. Give me everything you have in 10 minutes, and then we're good to go. And then that conversation, I'm of course paraphrasing that conversation. I have no idea if it happened this way, but for sure there was probably an aspect of, I'm hurting, you're hurting. Let's do this together, buddy. Talking to a muscle, of course. And then at the end of the day, you had enough in the last kick. But yeah, it's a similar strategy that Mohammed used in his silver medal run at the end. Sometimes that's what you got to do in long distance, is keep it all just at the end and trying to go for it, go for broke, leave it all on, at least in this one, in the street.
Yeah, 100%. And look, as a final thought on this, I'm sure I'll have an opportunity to talk about this man again at some point, but he's always sort of said that the trinkets don't matter. He's right on one level, and that's why we love him, because he keeps things in perspective. He's always fought for clean sport. He's always fought for justice. He was ambivalent about even going to Japan because of the COVID situation. He's not an athlete that's selfish or only focused on things that are ultimately irrelevant. He understands what he's doing and its place in the world. But, when he crossed that line and he had his Olympic medal, and he's absolutely, if he wasn't a race walker, Kevin, he would be your co-host. Like, he is absolutely an Olympic geek. He was talking to us on Twitter 6 hours before the damn race. Like, get off your phone, Evan. You got a race to run. But it's
we've seen this last few Olympics. It was the same in Rio too. Like, I remember it clearly. For all intents and purposes, in Rio, what he did was a medal-winning performance too, even if he finished fourth. So yeah, what a career.
Yeah, no, yeah, and he's not done yet either. He said he's going to figure it out. Even though the 50K is his preferred distance, he'll adjust and see what he can do. And this is a guy that has his medal. So if he finishes 15th in the 20K or whatever it is in 3 years, I'm sure he'll be satisfied with that. But all I was going to say to him that is, as much as he wants to, and I understand this is a guy that talks bravado a lot myself sometimes in the world. I have a podcast. I talk bravado sometimes. Sometimes you undersell what you want. And when you get it, you're like, okay, yeah, I really wanted that. And when that scream at the end, he's got his Olympic medal. He can change his bio Congrats, Evan. Awesome, man.
Yeah, Olympic champion. And our super booty medal for day 14. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll give you our bronze, our silver, and our gold medal for day 14. A day, decades in the making. And we're back on the Five Rings Podcast, live on Twitter right now, even on the Soccer Today feed. We're live here with both of you. Both of you are favorite podcasts in the entire world. Collaboration right now because it's a beautiful day. Make sure you don't miss our gold medal later today. But Duane, let's start our bronze journey today. It was quite a moment for this athlete. And this athlete. Talk about two athletes, Harry Lefrijsen and Jeffrey Hoogland of the Netherlands, both participating into the final of the team of the men's sprint. On the track, dominating this event, did the Netherlands do, but a great event. Great to watch that. And you know, I like the performance of Harry because he actually lost. It's a 2 out of 3. And he lost the first one. And he was able to win the second and then win the third. Always like a come from behind win. But on the track, these muscly, crazy bike riders put on a show yesterday.
And they're training partners. They live a kilometer apart. So like, you know, the fact that they've probably had this race 1,000 times and they're literally 1,000 times
going home. Like, okay, I'm going to race you home.
Yeah, no, amazing. And look, the Dutch in general on the tracks, they're an incredible beast of a program right there. I don't know what it is about the Dutch personality that makes them very good at events where they go around in circles going very fast because, you know, we're going to talk about that in 6 months. The Dutch speed skating team's very good.
They always turn left. They're so good at turning left. Maybe they should take on NASCAR.
There you go. No, but yeah, it was incredible. And they were clearly the dominant program in that event, the men's sprint, which is an amazingly fascinating and interesting competition that it's a cat and mouse game. It's so interesting to watch. If you've never watched it, you should. I mean, if you've never watched it, why are you listening to the Five Rings podcast? But nonetheless.
Yeah, don't. By the way, they start and they're together, and eventually the first to the line win. So it's that simple. But who's gonna go first? If you go first, I maybe can catch you. If you go too early, I'll definitely catch you. If you go too late, maybe there's gonna be a run to the line, and maybe you never know. Fascinating stuff.
Yeah. These guys are amazing. I wanted to get them in there. It was a great competition. The fact that it was 1-2 really underlines how powerful the Dutch program is. So that's why they're in this spot. But having said that, Kevin, you're a cycling guy. I have a question. I always think about this when I watch the sprint. If you have more speed than your opponent, why don't you just go hell-bent from the start?
Because the speed is only conditioned to how long do you have to maintain that speed for, right? So
yeah.
If I start too fast, if I start too early, I won't be able to maintain that speed. And maybe you have more endurance than I do. So then you'll overtake me to the line. And it's to gauge that effort. So that's the thinking behind either launching your sprint 150 meters out, 200 meters out, 50 meters out. That's the difference. And sometimes I have a bigger kick than you, but if the other guy starts before and maintains it and I wait too long, I won't have space to use my kick. So that's the strategy behind it.
Fair enough. So I guess at the Olympic level, no one's so much better that they can't just blast away.
There is, but you can't necessarily do that with tactics. And I guess at the gold medal, like when it comes to the gold medal game or the gold medal sprint, the difference between 1 and 2 is not big enough. It's strategy has to play a role in there.
I just think, bear with me, if anyone from this world is listening, that it never happened. So if someone actually did it at the gold medal level, it would absolutely catch them off guard and you would win. That's my position. But anyway, no, this is why this thing is fascinating, because you can think about stuff like this. Like, why don't you go here? And I love how it's kind of physical. Like, they push someone up to the top of the track, so they force them down. Someone's trying to play cat and mouse at the top so they can get the speed from going down the slope. It's amazing. It's a great sport, and the Dutch were amazing at it. And there's the women's still to come today. Watch it. Especially for Canadian, there's a couple Canadians still. There you go.
And the Canadians stems from the all trade in Milton, and they actually have a high quality training facility to execute their craft now. So thank you, TO
2015.
By the way, Evan Dunphy won a gold medal in TO 2015. So has a lot of athletes we talked about over the last couple of days.
Yeah, no, it turns out that there was some value that was there. And I had a blast in those 2 weeks. Like, oh my God. I live in the city. I'm used to people that just want to moan about everything. So I kind of overplay this because I want to shake them. Anyway, yeah, 215 was fine. It was good. It didn't cost us less money. And yeah, exactly. They even finished. Funny story quickly. If you're not from Toronto, this doesn't really matter, but if you live in a city and understand how government works, you'll appreciate this. They started an improvement on the train station, Union Station or downtown station, in 2011 to improve it for TO 2015. They finished those improvements
last
month.
Thank you. Oh, construction companies. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, when did the Olympic Stadium get paid off?
Yeah. Not that.
It was during the run of the show.
It was during the 5 Weeks podcast. You're correct. All right. He who has never sinned shall cast the first stone, Duane. Let's talk about our silver medal for day 14. And it is the 50-kilometer race walking gold medalist, David Tomala, the Polish, very young, 24 years old, I believe. It was his first long event as a race walker, his first 50-kilometer internationally. And he did it 3 hours, 50 minutes, and 8 seconds, enough to finish on top of this event. Very hot condition, even very early in Sapporo. It wasn't enough to deter David Tomala, and he outpaced, and outwalked everyone.
No, he broke pretty early relatively early in a competition like this, and I think that the guys let him go because of the fact that he didn't have that resume. Was a 20K guy up until 2 years ago. During the pandemic, he switched it up and decided he wanted to focus on the 50, which is, maybe an acknowledgement that he didn't have the top end speed. I don't know.
Why would you do it when you're going to have to focus back on the 20 now? Anyways, which, by the way, the 50K will still exist at the World Championship level and other levels than the Olympics.
Yeah, no, and those guys will absolutely compete with that and be satisfied with the results. Just like the ultra marathoner that I knew, that she didn't care that there wasn't an Olympic element to it. She just wanted to push herself, right? Like, that's how they go. But no, what I will say is that he did that burst, and I will always respect an athlete in an endurance that breaks away by their own and holds on, because that is the bravest thing that I can possibly think of, because everyone thinks you're going to crash. Everyone thinks you're going to blow up. I think that if this was a 52K race, maybe Evan catches him or someone else. I think it would have been Evan, but yeah, it's a 50K race, and he figured it out, and he broke away, and he got his medal. And the fact that he switched, as you just said, the fact that he switched away 18 months out of the games, knowing that this wasn't going to be a career thing, that he's going to have to switch back. I found that really honorable in some way, that he just said, okay, this is my chance, and I'm going to do it. And he pushed himself. And honestly, that race is nuts. Like, I can look, I can comprehend it a little bit, because I used to be like a weekend warrior jogger, like I 5 once a week or whatever.
I love endurance sport. I can understand. I used to cycle 100 kilometers once a month. That was my thing.
Yeah. So I switched it up and started to speed walk, like half as fast as them. literally half as fast as them. Like I can do 10K in the speed that the women won the 20K at this morning. Like that's literally, I'm half as fast. And when there's a point in that where you think I'm just walking, like this cannot be hard, but like your body goes like, I need to stop now. Like it's incredible what they do. It's amazing, and we deserve to respect them. And if this is the last time, and if he's the last 50K champion, a race that's been run since the 20s, I think 26 was the first time it was in, then hey, respect, man. You got it done. Good for you.
It's now time to talk about a moment that we never thought would happen, because we're not necessarily used to talking about soccer. Yeah, no, we're used to talking about soccer, but never for Canadian soccer when it's about winning a tournament. Our gold medal today, to the surprise of no one, is Canada winning the gold medal in women's soccer. The Olympic football tournament has a new champion. And Duane, a little fact. Canada won once. What was the antecessor to the World Cup of soccer? 1902, to be precise. And Canada's the first, I think it was actually gold medal in soccer, 1902. First country to win gold medal on the men and the women's side.
Awesome. I mean, look, I could be historical for a minute here, and explain that there were only 3 teams in that tournament and 2 of them were American, but let's just go with that. That's just own that and celebrate that. That's amazing.
Oh, what a penalty shootout, because of course it had to finish in penalties. Of course, the only way Canada would win an Olympic gold medal is exactly how Greece won their Euro 2004. Literally, not a single goal in the knockout stage, but we're not going to dwell on that point. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, in famous words of Vin Diesel, you win by a mile or by an inch, you win. And that's what counts. Jessie Fleming, Christine Sinclair, Steph LeBay. Where do we put the statues? Because we're going to build statues. We need to build statues of this team. I want to see one in Edmonton. I want to see one in BC. I want to see one in Laval. Evelyn Viens deserves a statue. Please start building the statues.
Look, we're being a little bit Canadian focused here, which we've done a good job, I think, throughout this Five Rings podcast, not really betraying that. We have our poutine medal. That's where we focus that on. But I have covered this team for longer than I've been on this show, which I've been on this show for 7 years now, and I was on another show before that for another 4, so it was even before that I was covering it. So look, I have lived and talked about the Canadian women's national team for a very long time. Just to see them win today was emotional. There's no doubt about it. And it's emotional not just for my own whatever, but it's emotional for the players, and it's emotional for the fans. That there are fans I know that love this team more than anything else. They don't have another soccer team that they follow. They don't, whatever. Like it's all there, right? And they love these women and they want to see them successful. And to see them win was amazing. Anyway, and look, we can, nitpick. And if you're outside Canada, you can quite rightfully say that this was a bit fortunate, we'll say, in terms of the a couple posts.
What do you mean, Duane? I don't know. Just because Sweden attempted 30 shots, that it was one-sided? No. Only 6 of them were on target. Okay, it doesn't matter if you attempt 30. I'm just kidding. It definitely do matter if you attempt 30 times. But that's the type of game it was. For rarely do we have fate clearly on one side the way Canada had it. But, I've been on the other side of that equation so long that I'll take it.
100%. Well, it doesn't matter. Like, I tweeted out a very sort of colorful tweet at the end of the game. They blank won. That's all that matters. And that's the truth, because this is not so much the group, but a few of the players on this team, and certainly the fans that have followed this team for a long time have been to the brink and back. Like that game in 2012, which got talked about a lot in these 2 weeks against the U.S. in the semifinals, where they were pretty much robbed of it. Like I'm not trying to be bitter when I say this. Like the refereeing decision was atrocious at that point.
If you can go back and watch that game with today's eyes, or make like a VAR watch that game and see what decision he takes when the referee blows the whistle to call that 6 seconds. If VAR existed, that game would not have ended this way.
No, it was bad. Like, and look, they just deserve it. Like, I mean, it was an amazing accomplishment, and it really centers around one woman. Like, it centers around 24 women, but one woman in particular, and that's Christine Sinclair, who is the all-time leading goal scorer in football, both genders. I don't like doing the comparison thing, but it is both genders. She has carried this program on her back for many, many years. She's 38 now. She is not carrying this program on her back anymore. She had one goal in this tournament. It was the first goal in the first game. She didn't look particularly dangerous at times in today, but she did actually draw the penalty, so that's worthwhile noting. Everyone wanted her to win. And I was reading before we get on, we're reading international response to it, like Americans and Swedes and everyone. It's like they're all talking about her. And that's a testament to how great of a career she's had and how happy people are that she got her moment. And the players were ecstatic. Right now, in my background, my TV has it on now, and you can see her jumping up and down on my TV. It's just incredible.
And the fact that she was subbed off at the 85th minute is also symbolic. Once she was subbed off, and I was telling myself, like, this is going to extra time. It's 1-1. So this is a bit symbolic. And you should just the look she gave to Jordan Heinema and be like, don't F it up. like look at her, be like, okay, now go and score for me, okay? Now do this for me, because of course I can't do it. Now it's literally on you. And for the first time in my career, or at least in a long time, I'm giving the responsibilities of this team to somebody else, because she was not involved in the penalty shootout. And the fact that Canada won at that point, to me, is the perfect moment. And of course, we don't know if she's going to retire. The way she said goodbye to everyone, and the way that she said goodbye to everyone after the victory ceremony, to Sweden, to the U.S. there, her teammates, of course, in the NWSL, on all these teams. So, is this the end for Christine? I don't know. But there's no better way. At least, there's no higher way to close a chapter. Like, the movie ends there, in confetti. And she deserves everything that comes in. If she wants to stay for 3 more years and win another one, I'm not going to say no, because it's a young core group that's going to continue to be good. But this gold medal, no one will ever take it away.
No, she's earned the right to do whatever she wants, bluntly. And I've had the privilege to talk to her a few times in my life. What I will say is that when you do so, she is quite reserved. She's shy even. But if you ask her a question that speaks to the sport and speaks to the details, the tactics, the geekdom of the sport, you can hear her eyes light up, right? She loves the game, and she loves to be part of this. And her body, like, we all get older, man. Like, I was never as an athlete like her, but even I understand that I can't do the same things I did when I was 24 now, right? So she knows that. And if she wants to walk away on top, that's her right. If she wants to play on until we have to drag her off the field, then that's her right too. It's just incredible. She got it. She's going to get a lot of credit today, a lot of talk today. It's going to probably embarrass her because, as I said, she doesn't really like the attention. But the women, when she came off, she was subbed for a woman 17 years younger than her. The girl that scored, the woman, I should say, that scored the goal is 18 years younger than her. Like she's their mom. Like this is a Gen Z team with one elder millennial kicking around there, acting as their mom, and that's incredible. But yeah, awesome. It's awesome. It's like I can't really evaluate it. Were they the best team in this tournament?
No.
God, no.
But
can they repeat this? Probably not. Does it matter? Absolutely not. They're the gold medalists.
One aspect of this performance that is shocking in a very good way is the performance of Stephanie LeBay, Stephanie LeBay has been, hands down, for me, Canada's best player in this tournament. She has a knack to save penalties. She sees where the player is going, at least the ball of that player is going, and she can anticipate it. In the quarterfinals, she stopped 2 in the needed time of the 4th and 5th penalty to propel Canada to that semifinal game where they were able to get the job done against the U.S. And in this game, she did the same too when it was needed. It was the 5th and 6th one here. Well, the 5th one was missed. She saved the 4th one. And the 5th one, of course, Sager, she booted on top over the crossbar. And then she stopped the 5th one. And she stopped the first one too, while the post of Aslani. But even if that one would have been on target, she was on the right side. I've rarely seen a goalkeeper with that type of skills and that level of skill to stop penalties. I've seen Nick Raimondo in MLS. But that's what I was thinking about, seeing Stephanie LeBay anticipate. And it's not even a guessing job at that point. Well, with this amount of penalty stopped in this tournament, like you're talking about 4 penalties stopped. That's 40%. That's higher than any goalkeepers I've seen in my research during the Euro for years and years in the past. If you got over 27% of the penalty stops against you, it's amazing. But 40 in this tournament. 40% of the penalties she faced, she stopped. That's insane.
Well, she stopped one when she was injured too.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, that's 5 she stopped, because that one I didn't count because it wasn't in a penalty shootout. So there you go. So that's 5 out of 11. That's close to 50% there.
Yeah, I know. Steph LeBay has been on this, not this show, but Soccer Today as well. So we've had the opportunity to speak to her. She's an interesting woman and smart and incredibly thoughtful.
Motivated, and she's an example. I have a daughter, and my wife nicked the project, but I wanted to call her Stephanie. So there you go.
Yeah, no, she's pretty incredible. Artist too. Her art's amazing. Like, she's an interesting woman. But she also, it's still 6 months till I have to cast this vote, but I'm pretty sure that Steph LeBay will get my vote for Canadian Player of the Year. I don't know how you could vote for anyone else. I suspect Sinclair will probably win for sentimental reasons, but yeah,
that's true.
I'm voting for that. But
on the field reason, you're right. No one did it on the field did better than her, because we didn't have like a goal scorer that scored like 10 goals for Canada in the tournament or anything like that. No, it was Steph LeBay emotionally and on the field.
And she's one of the ones that's been around the program for a while too, right? Like, there's 4 women: Steph LeBay, Sophie Schmidt, who only played 1 game, was basically kind of an assistant coach, and in reality, more than anything else in this tournament. But she gets her goal too, and has played an amazing role throughout her career for this. And Desiree Scott were the other player that's been around.
You're forgetting one, and you know who? She didn't play a single minute in this tournament too. Don't forget the 3rd goalkeeper for Canada, because she deserves this too. Erin McLeod missed 6 minutes. She got her gold medal too.
Absolutely, and you're right. You're right, and she was the best keeper in this country for a long time. And look, like I said, I've covered this team a long time. I've doubted this team's. It's not that I've doubted this team's abilities. I have never, to be clear, anyone listening, been critical of these players and their effort and their desire and all that sort of stuff. What I've been critical of is the resources and the efforts to give them the ability to be better. And I still am going to be going forward. But today was a day to celebrate and enjoy, and awesome. I can't be any more than a fan right now. It's awesome. It was amazing to see.
Tactically, was this the best choice for Beth Priestman during the entire tournament? Who cares? They won the gold. Who are we to say anything that went wrong, right? They get luck on their side. They get luck for penalty and the right calls. Yeah. But you got to win a tournament like this. Like every single team that I've covered in my entire life as a journalist, from soccer to World Championship and speed skating to other sporting events, winners always get lucky during their journey to becoming winners. That's part of the equation. Hard work, dedication, motivation, talent, genetics, also luck, part of that equation.
Absolutely. There's 100%. luck is a major and unspoken about part of sport. But what you have to do is put yourself in position where you can benefit from luck. And if you do that, sometimes good things happen. If you get there, if you get to the dance enough times,
eventually you'll win it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They actually won it. They won it, Duane. And that's another gold medal for Canada. And let's take a look at the medal standings before we say goodbye for today. And we have China on top of the medal standings. 36 gold. USA second with 31 golds. Japan third, 24. Great Britain now fourth. Overtook The Rock and overtook Australia. Now fourth with 18 goals. Maybe that'll change with the 10-meter platform today. All the best to the British divers. ROC, yeah, you know me, are in fifth with 17. Australia, sixth with 17. And Canada in 14th position. Do not believe the CBC. Canada's not 11th, okay? We do not count the total amount of medals. We go just like the rest of the world with the gold. And they have 6. Will we have more gold? Will we get a 7th gold to equal the tally of, when was it, Duane?
It was Atlanta, 96.
96. We'll see. But all that, and we did not even talk about the men's 4x1 relay of Canada winning a bronze medal. But congratulations, Under the Grass, for your full set of Tokyo medals. You got one of each color. And, no, sorry, you got 2 bronze. Yeah, oh well. You still got 3 medals.
And quickly, he is the all-time male leader for medals in Canadian history now. So that's something to talk about as well.
That's true. And that's going to keep on going also all the way to Paris. But on that note, Duane and I will rest and get ready for day 15, the last full day of competition at the Olympics, Duane. Already. Last full day.
Yeah, I'm a little sad, but I'm also happy that I can actually sleep for a minute. But that it's all good.
What is 8 hours consecutive of sleep? I don't know. But on that note, thank you for listening to this edition of the 5 Rings Podcast. You can follow Duane on social media at 24th Minute, myself at Kev Laramee, and this show at 5 Rings Podcast. We'll be back with a brand new edition tomorrow for day 15. But as always, until then, have a great Olympiad.